Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick, and this is my daily ramble. Doing one on a Saturday, haven't I? Because why not? Got some good news yesterday, didn't we? Got some good news. Right, we've got quite a lot to run through today, so I'm going to run through our fantastic new signing, Maxwell Cornet, or Maxi Cornet, as I've found the Burnley fans affectionately refer to him. We're going to run through the transfer centre, and I'm going to talk to you about three new players that have basically reared their heads now. They're heavily linked as well, apparently the alternative. So we know that Onana, it's not done. He hasn't signed for Everton yet. There's rumours that he's in Liverpool now doing a medical, whatever, don't know. But there is an alternative player, which I'll take you through later on. And then beyond that, I'm going to run through a quick match preview as well for the upcoming game on the weekend. But before I do that, as always, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit that like button, please, because it really helps us. All right, lovely. Okay, on with the show. So, as we all know, let's talk a little bit about Onana first of all. John did a video yesterday, which was fantastic, and I think he kind of hit the nail on the head with that. I mean, look, I've got frustrations with the fact that we've wasted 6 weeks on a guy, and depending on what you want to believe, the rumour is that we know we've gone in for a bid of 40 million for this player, and how it's been painted is that we was only willing to pay him 40 grand a week, and Everton have come in and gazumped us at the last minute. You know, it's an old trick. You know, other clubs let teams like us do all the legwork, you know, wait until they find a bit that a bit is acceptable, and then they jump in and, you know, better our offer. I don't quite know how Everton can better our offer, but the fact of the matter is, I don't think it was, looking at it now with a clearer head, I don't think it's that we couldn't pay Onana that money. It's not that we couldn't pay him. It's more the fact that I don't think that we should necessarily pay him too much more money than that. When you do look at his potential, it's astronomical. He could be an amazing player. He could be the next Deck. But he's had one season in Germany, and then he came back to Lille, and he had a few appearances last year, but he was more or less a bit part player. He had 11 starts. So he's 20 years old, and we've offered to pay a fortune to bring him in and give him a platform to build his career in a similar way to Declan Rice has blossomed, you know, and turned into possibly the best central defensive midfielder in. I don't think there's any better than Declan Rice in that position. I really, really don't. And and that's what we've offered this kid. We've offered him a gateway into the Premier League for a team that is known for putting players on the map. It's what we do, you know. Whereas the team that he's chosen to go to for a few extra quid, how many players have they bought in the last 3-4 years that have faded into nothingness? You know, I know David Moyes has made a few mistakes in terms of signings in the last transfer window, but on the whole, generally he gets who he wants and he makes good use of them. So, and the fact that David Moyes was going after this player so much, he clearly wanted him. You know, he clearly saw him as an important player for now and for the future. And I don't think it's dead yet. I don't think it's dead because, like I say, he hasn't signed for Everton yet. This could very well be his sister, who is his agent, playing hardball, making up stories. I don't know. It's what they do. It's what agents do. They play dirty games, don't they? But look, at the end of the day, if he comes, great. If he doesn't, and Everton pay a fortune for him, Everton are already in trouble. I don't know what they think they're doing. But that's up to them. That's up to them completely. I don't care. We signed Maxwell Cornet, as I've already said. A fantastic player. I'm going to touch on him a little bit more in a little bit more detail. And as we know, we've got a bit of a tough run of fixtures coming up in August. As you can see there, you know, in the league, we've got City at home, Nottingham Forest away, Brighton at home and Villa away, and they're all Sunday games, week apart. But that is a tough run of games. It really, really is. So anyway, look, let's move on to the transfer centre anyway. So how are we all feeling? When you look at it now, because I've got to be honest, I was growing a little bit impatient earlier in the week. I was on the verge of throwing my toys out of the pram a little bit. Even though, we'd already signed up, we'd spent 80 million, we've got that kind of elusive striker. We got him. I was just looking at the squad leading into this Man City game, and I was starting to panic a little bit because of how ill-prepared it sort of felt like we were. But do you know what? It's amazing what difference one player can make to the way that your squad starts to look. Because I think the one thing that I was really bothered about was Cresswell at the back. Now, look, he could still play a part there, but the fact of the matter is, with Cornet, who we've now brought in, we know that he can play left back. We know he's got electric pace. We know he can play left wing. We know he can play left wing back. He can play up front. He's a bloody good player. He's a really good player. I did kind of dismiss him. I'll be honest with you. With Cornet, I thought that we were potentially aiming. When I say I don't want to play him down, but I thought we were aiming a little bit higher, going for someone with a slightly more pedigree, if you like. But the fact of the matter is, Cornet is Burnley's star player. I know they got relegated, but he was fantastic for them last season. He was, and he's kind of the right player. It's a round peg for a round hole, which I think is a common theme throughout this transfer window. At least, we're buying players that I think that we need. We're not kind of there's it seems like there's sense and there's a strategy to it, and we're starting to see now what Newman can bring to the table as well, which is great. So Max Cornet, we've all seen plenty of this guy. We saw loads last season. He is a threat. He's incredibly quick. He's quite clinical as well. He's not a show pony. He's not a step over merchant or anything like that. He has got a trick in him, but you know what? He's quite direct. He gets his head down and he goes, he runs, and he is fast. He's very competent defensively. I don't know in what capacity Moyes is going to use him, but I think that this is kind of a little bit of a dream player for Moyes, in the sense that we know that Moyes does like a utility player. We still haven't got the biggest squad. I'll touch on that in a little bit. We still haven't got the biggest squad, but when you've got players like Cornet that can play in multiple positions, like Antonio, like Fornals, like Johnson, who can cover at both fullback positions. When you've got that, it kind of gives you a little bit more comfort, I think. And I think he will be a fantastic player. I'm quite disappointed with myself with the fact that I kind of played this down quite so much, because I'm actually quite buzzing that we've signed this guy now. And I was kind of sneering at it a little bit, and I don't know why. I don't know why I was. Maybe my expectation, maybe the bar was raised too high for me. I don't know. But this guy could be an absolute star for us. He really could, And for 17.5 million, the only concern with him is his injury record. I think in the last 3 years, he's had like 13 different injuries. Not massive, but he's had injuries ranging, from his foot to his ankle to his knee, hip, back. He's had time off with allergies. He's kind of, I don't know that he's I'm not saying he's a sick note, or maybe it's the type of player that he is. Maybe he just gets little impact injuries. I don't know. But there is definitely a bit of a cause for concern with the amount of injuries that he's had over the past 3 years, which I think is why David Moyes was trying to squeeze a loan out of Burnley, but they weren't having it. But nonetheless, look, I'm glad we got him in. We needed him. We definitely needed this type of player, and I think he will be brilliant. He's got a year's Premier League experience now. What's not to like? So let me know what you think about Cornet. Anyway, I think he's I'm looking forward to seeing him. I was getting a little bit anxious with the lack of pace, both in defence and in attack, and I think now with Bowen, with Antonio, with Scamacca, who isn't slow, and with Cornet, that gives us plenty of options. It really does. Also, at left back as well. If we have got a bit of a speed demon that would normally terrorise Cresswell, Moyes can do a tactical shift and he can bring Cornet back to protect him or replace him. I'm still living in hope that we're going to go out and grab a left back this window, but who knows? Who knows what will happen? Right, on to the other news. The this chap, Marcos Senesi, he's an Argentinian international left-sided centre-back. And it's a Rob Newman player. This is a Rob Newman player. I don't know too much about this guy. This literally just came through before I started recording this video. Very highly rated. Bournemouth for him. Apparently, I think they're in advanced stages of a deal, and we're trying to do an Everton. And we're going in to sort of basically try and gazump him because we need a left back. Not a left back, a left-sided centre back because of Aguirre. We don't know how long he's going to be out for. And there's another centre-back as well that I really like the look of. We reviewed this guy back in January, Attila Szalai, Hungarian international. He was a bit of a star of the Euros. He's a fantastic player. He can play left back as well as left centre-back. He's an absolute unit, this guy. He's 6'4". He's got a great leap. He brings the ball out well. He's a bit of a cultured defender, but an absolute beast as well. The way that he plays, he's super aggressive, as I think that we saw pretty much all of those Hungarian players did in that tournament. That was a bit of a nightmare, weren't they? And we're linked with him. Now, I don't know what this means for Aguirre. I don't know what to read into this because the fact that we're going out there looking to make a permanent signing, these won't be cheap. These players that I've just spoken about, Senesi and Szalai, they're not going to be cheap players. We're going to be looking at between 15 and 20 million for players like this. So does that mean that Aguirre's injury is a little bit worse than what we've been told? Because some people are saying 3 months, some people are saying 6 months. Or is it simply because Diop is forcing a move and we need another centre-back? I don't know. It could be the fact that Ogbonna, maybe he has been playing with the under-23s, but we've not seen him since his injury. He wasn't the quickest before. He wasn't going to be. He's getting on. He's done his ACL. I'm assuming he's not going to be any quicker now. I'm assuming that that's causing him some serious problems. So maybe we do need another centre-back. And I suppose when you look at it anyway, we've only got Ogbonna for another season. Worst way, or best way, I should say, because his contract expires at the end of this year, and I can't see them renewing it. So yeah, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it just seems a little bit strange that we would go out and spend big on a centre back. Although, like I say, these two players, this player in particular, Szalai, he can play in the left back role as well. So it could be a good signing. Now, I've already spoken about Onana. We all know his name now. But we don't know much about this chap, do we? This is another Rob Newman player. Not someone that we've just looked at. Apparently, he was always going to be the backup to Onana. He was always on our list. We've been watching him for an awful long time. He's a 24-year-old central defensive midfielder, 6'4", plays for PSV, very highly rated. Lots of clubs in for him. So David Moyes definitely feels like we need something additional in midfield. He does, which I'm happy about because I think we all saw not Declan Rice, but we saw Souček struggle last year. I'm not saying that these guys are going to replace him in the team, but maybe Moyes does want to rotate players a little bit. Maybe he does want to rest them. And the fact that we haven't seen Downs quite as much as I would have liked pre-season, maybe he doesn't feel like Downs is quite ready yet and isn't going to break through this season. I don't know. But yeah, this chap, I've not seen this guy play. I'm not going to pretend that I have. I have watched PSV a few times. I watched them last year. He played yesterday apparently. And we had scouts out there watching him, and he had a good solid game. So he is the next stop. So it looks like we're definitely going to go for a CDM, and this guy is going to be very achievable. Like I say, he's 24. He's more established. He's played a lot more professional games. I don't know how easy the deal is going to be because, like I say, it's a bit of a sought after position, and there are other clubs in the mix for him as well. Now, in addition to that, we know that we need a left back. We are still linked with Luke Thomas and a raft of other left backs as well. Now, I don't know whether the signing of Cornet is going to divert Moyes' attention away from that because, like I said, I still, even though I believe and I would like to see Cresswell replaced in that team, I still don't believe that David Moyes is ready to drop Cresswell. I think he's like a vice captain in the squad, isn't he? So I don't think there's any way he's going to be ditched from the first team setup. I don't think that's going to be the case. So I think it was just about getting players in Moyes' mind, to kind of support and cover Cresswell, which is exactly what Cornet is. I mean, that was a bit of a bugbear of mine. Was on that left wing position. We was kind of shoehorning players in like Ben Rama, like Fornals, whose job it felt most of the time was to basically not focus on their attacking game. It was to cover Cresswell. And that was detrimental to them. I don't think Benny or Fornals were particularly very good in terms of their sort of attacking output. When you look at the freedom that Bowen has on the right-hand side when he's got either Johnson or Soufal behind him, because Bowen doesn't have to babysit that fullback. And you look at how well Bowen played last year, I don't think it's any coincidence. We know the talent that the likes of, Fornals and... Well, look, we know the talent that Benny's got. I don't think Benny is the type of player you can shackle. I think if you're going to do that, don't play him. There's no point. He's a bit of a free spirit. I think if you're ever going to see the best out of Benny, it's going to be in that Lingard type role where you just literally throw him in the team and tell him to go and have a good time. I think he's that type of player. If you try and turn him into something else, you're flogging a dead horse. It's not going to work. So I think this does definitely give us way, way more options now. Now I'm looking at the squad. I'm not as panicked. Still a bit worried about centre-back, only because of the injury to Aguirre. But we do have options, it feels, everywhere at the moment. And if we get a couple more additions now we've got Cornet. If we do get a couple more additions, if we got a left back, if we got this CDM, I think that probably would be us more or less done. If I'm honest, we're always going to need more players, but that is not a bad looking squad, to be quite honest. And although the squad is, in terms of numbers, probably going to be a little bit smaller than it was last season, it's not going to be smaller in terms of players that David Moyes is willing to use. I think we'll have a more usable squad. So all that, because you had the likes of Crow and players like that. We've still got Vlasic, but I can see Vlasic going, because I think his days are numbered at the club. I can't see him sort of sticking around. I think there's just going to be more options from the bench that Moyes is likely to use, because we all kind of we all complained about the fact we were reusing the same players over and over again, especially when fatigue was clearly setting in. So hopefully, this is going to give David Moyes a bit more confidence to do that. And Downs as well. I do think that Downs will be used. I can see it. I just yeah. And I can't see Souček going either, because I know we're sort of chasing this CDM. In my mind, I don't think it is to replace Souček now. I don't think it is. I think it's to complement the central defensive midfield, and I think it's to basically prepare, because we've all heard the rumours that Declan Rice is going to be leaving next summer. Now, if we have a blinding season, then we've got bargaining chips with which to keep him. So it's a win-win situation. You get a great central defensive midfielder in, which helps the squad. If we do really well and Declan Rice stays, that's great. If we don't do quite so well, we're in a better position if Declan Rice does decide to leave at the end of the season. So I think it's a really intelligent thing and forward-thinking thing for David Moyes to do, is to get an additional body in central midfield. Right, shall we move on to the Man City preview? Fancy new graphics. Right, as we all know, at 4:30 this Sunday, of course, we kick off against the Premier League champions from last season. And of course, they've just the best striker in world football making his debut against us, a guy who loves to score on his debut. In addition to that, we've got bloody Michael Oliver reffing it as well. I mean, it couldn't really get any worse, could it? But look, football is a funny old game, and West Ham are a funny old team. And when you expect us to win, sometimes we don't. And when you expect us to lose, sometimes we win. I think that we will set out to frustrate Man City. I think they've had I don't know how Pep does it. I mean, it's testament to what a great manager he is, but the amount of players that he's got, to kind of try and keep happy in that squad is ridiculous. He could literally put out it feels like 2 or 3 starting 11s that would compete for the title. It's insane. I think Grealish is gonna play a lot more this season. I can see him starting, especially now Sterling's gone. So I think Grealish is probably going to take that sort of berth on the left-hand side. Haaland will obviously play. I think it's clear that he is going to play. But Haaland's going to have pressure on him because he's always been the big fish wherever he's been. He's still a big fish. He's a world-class player. But if he don't get off to a flyer, if he doesn't get off to a flyer and he's not banging in the goals, Pep will drop him. He will. It's what he does, because he's got other options. If he has to go back to a false 9, he will. And that, I think, is going to be the interesting thing because Man City haven't been playing with a traditional number 9, which is what Haaland is. He's probably the best of them. But they haven't been playing with a striker. And I think we saw in that Charity Shield game against Liverpool, it felt like they didn't quite know how to use him, what to do with him. He looks a little bit lost. So it's going to be interesting, Also, he hasn't come up against Premier League centre-backs before. He does get injured, because he's a full-blooded player. He's amazing. He's fantastic, but he doesn't pull out of anything. And he's going to get lumps kicked out of him in this league. He really is. So I'm interested to see how that pans out for him. I just really hope that they don't get going against us. We played excellent against them at the end of last season. I think we frustrated them really well. The game plan was perfect. I think we'll do similar again. I don't quite know what we're going to do in terms of setting up. I've got no idea because Cornet, as far as I know, he had to sign by 12:30 on Friday to qualify to be able to be in the matchday squad for Sunday. I think he missed that. It was certainly announced quite late, wasn't it? So I don't think that he's going to be available. We've already read that Scamacca isn't ready, and we don't know when he's going to be ready because, as I said in previous videos, Sassuolo, they weren't playing him in the pre-season games. He was always going to be sold, so he's not had much of, if any, preparation. Plus, David Moyes doesn't throw players in, and it's not a bad. It's not a bad way to actually sort of, rather than just sort of changing the team straight away, you bleed new players into the team slowly. I think it probably is a sensible thing to do. Whether we'll feel like that at 6 o'clock on Sunday, I don't know. But look, at the end of the day, none of us can expect to win this game, right? We never do. No, I don't think anyone can ever expect to beat Man City. I think all you can do is damage limitation to a degree and hope they have an off day, hope we can frustrate them, and hope that we can do a smash and grab, which can happen. It does happen. I think we're more than capable of that, certainly from set pieces, because we have got some monsters in our team. And it definitely feels like that is going to be a bit of a focus for us this year. I know we didn't get Kostic, but look, we've still got a good set piece specialist in the team. Bowen can take a set piece. Cresswell can take a set piece. So who knows? Who knows what could happen? But going by pre-season, it looks a little bit like David Moyes is going to opt for a back 3, which will be a back 5. It will be. Obviously, I was a little bit concerned before Masuaku moved on that he was going to be playing left wing back because he was featuring in the last few pre-season games, but thankfully he's gone. We know that Johnson can do a job there. Now, he isn't a left wing back, but like I just said, those players, Johnson and Soufal, against Man City, they're not going to be wing backs. They're going to be they're going to be full backs. It's going to be a back 5 with Rice and Souček camped in front, and we're going to be heavily reliant on the pace and power of Antonio and Bowen up front with maybe Fornals or Lanzini in the middle. That could work. But again, I don't know. I'm not so sure. I know that David Moyes has been working on that, and I know that it appears that that's what he's going to do, but I can't help it. I just think that we're with the personnel that we've got available to us at the moment, I do believe we're going to go back to the trusty 4-2-3-1. I think we will. I think it's more sensible. Whether or not we're going to see, looking at the graphic now against Man City, you're probably going to see Fornals where Benrahma is, sort of doubling up to protect Cresswell, and you'll probably see Lanzini in where Fornals is. That's my prediction. So I've just done this graphic wrong because I don't think Ben Rama's going to start against City. I can't say that. He'll be an impact player off the bench. Like I say, I don't believe that Scamacca will play. I don't think he's available, and I'm pretty certain that Cornet can't play because he wasn't registered quick enough. So let me know. Let me know in the comments how you think we're going to set up anyway, and how you'd like us to set up, and what your expectations are for this game. I don't really have any expectations myself. I'll be honest with you. I don't expect us to beat City. I don't want us to get battered. That's the most important thing. I'd like us to kind of, like I say, damage limitation. We can't go toe to toe with them. We just can't. They'll tear us to ribbons. Even if we'd bought more players, even if we'd bought 10 players, going up against City is always going to be a harrowing experience if they're on their game. Like I say, it is a funny old game though. You don't know what's going to happen. I'm quietly confident that we can get something out of it because we do tend to lift our game against these types of teams. And look, you never know. You never know with West Ham, do you? What we're going to be doing on Sunday night as well. So regular slots. I think John mentioned that yesterday. We're going to be doing our regular Sunday night slot. It's either going to be 8 or 9 p.m. This Sunday it's going to be 9 p.m. and it's going to be basically, it'll be a booze up, but it's going to be a match review and a player ratings show. And you'll be seeing the trusty player ratings graphic out again. We're bringing back the donkey. Hopefully we don't have to use them. And for those of you that are new to the show, because we've got a lot of new subscribers now, we take a little bit of a different angle on the player ratings. A lot of people will look at that and go, "Oh, that's horrible with a donkey," but we try and make it light-hearted. Basically, the way that we do it, I haven't got the ratings matrix on there, but any player that gets under a 4 rating, they have to have a donkey. It's as simple as that. So if you get less than a 5, if you're 4 or lower, you get a donkey on your head. So yeah, that's the way that we do it. So that's coming back on Sunday. So join us for that. And that's probably me done for now. We will, like I say, we will be back this weekend. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and don't forget to hit that like button. And thank God, football is back. I can't, I'm completely frustrated doing these transfer shows now. I really am. This transfer window, although now it's starting to look like it was quite a good window. Now, I found it very stressful. I always do, but this one particularly, and I don't know why, but it's been killing me. So it's going to be nice to have something else to talk about other than bloody transfers. So anyway, that's it from me. I will see you all on Sunday. Come in your hands.